Marami po kasing cell types kaya pumapasok po yung cell differentiation. Another student answered same DNA, but the function varies depending on their intended function. Okay, so what do you think is the reason? Bakit magkakaiba yung cells? Meron kang um yung heart, yung cells sa heart mo, like the muscles that would constitute your heart is having the same with the DNA that would constitute um your neurons. Para silang diploid. Pero bakit sila magkaiba? Quick answer? What do you think? Mm-hmm. All right. So the answer lies to differential gene expression. Okay, so the DNA is the same in all cells, but they differ sa mga gene expression. So today, we'll be talking about gene expression at different levels, from transcription down to protein modification. So there are four levels, no, na kung saan na mo-modulate or na differentiate yung ating cells. Pwede siya sa gene transcription. Just go back to GenBio, di ba? The DNA, actually DNA replication is part, pero in pathway to proteins is you have the DNA, it's being transcribed into RNA, and the RNA is translated into a protein. Now, the question is, just because you have the DNA in that cell, does that follow or does that mean that that gene will be expressed into a protein? Yes or no? No, right? Kasi it depends. Just because you have the DNA doesn't necessarily mean it will be expressed. There's a lot of regulations going on inside the cell. It can happen at first one during transcription. So in this process, there is a mechanism of the cell wherein, okay, only selective genes are being transcribed into nuclear RNA. And then, okay, meron ka ng, let's say, nag-proceed yung transcription. You already have the RNA. Does that mean that RNA will proceed to translation? Okay, so it depends, no? So second one, there is a selective nuclear RNA processing. This regulates the transcribed RNA and are able to enter the cytoplasm and become the messenger RNA. Now, kapag meron ka ng messenger RNA, that doesn't mean na mata-translate siya. No, not all mRNA transcripts will be translated. It's still being regulated even at that level. And last is the differential protein modification. So this another reason for cell differentiation. So the gene expression happens at different levels. And these are the reasons, no? Or the mechanisms bakit magkakaiba ang cells kahit na nag-undergo lang naman siya ng mitosis. And in mitosis, you produce two diploid cells wherein one cell or the genetic material of one cell is identical to the other, no? Um, Iba to sa meiosis, right? Kasi sa meiosis, yung product mo, yung mga descendants ng um, diploid to haploid ay totally different because of recombinations, no? Pwedeng in abnormal cells, nagkakaroon ng unequal sharing of chromosomes. But in general, if it's mitosis, di ba? Um, Kasi 'di ba every time you will every time you take a bath, yung mga cells mo are being slough off, and for you to replenish those cells na nag-slough off is you have to do mitosis. And this, 'di ba, you guys know this, that the copy, the DNA copy is identical to the from parents to its offspring cells. And yes, so why do they differ? It's because of these four different mechanisms. Okay, there is differential gene transcription, there is selective nuclear RNA processing, selective messenger RNA translation, lastly, differential protein modifications. And you guys have encountered this, right? Um, in our previous lesson, we talked about the cell membrane, and you have learned na different cells would have a different concentrations or different types of proteins embedded on their cell membrane, 'di ba? The proteins expressed or the enzymes expressed in some cells might not be expressed to the other. Kaya there are differences in terms of the lipid composition, right? In terms of the phospholipids. Okay. So this slide will just show you the central dogma of molecular biology. Dito umiikot yung discussion in MolBio. This is very elementary to you, but and so this figure would show you your definitely this is eukaryotic organism, right? This is eukaryotic, the fact that it contains a nucleus. So inside the nucleus you have your chromosomes, and your chromosomes are tightly packed because of what? Because of the histones, di ba? Yung chromosomes, they are packed because of the histones, and those histones will be discussing that in a while. Those histones are very crucial then during gene expression. And yeah, so okay. I kind of don't like this image, pero yeah, dito na lang tayo. So you have your nucleus, right? So your nucleus, you have your nucleus, you have the portal, yeah, mga portals here, and you call this the nuclear pore. Okay. So the DNA, the transcription factors are not being shown here, pero there's a lot of going on pa in the DNA before siya totally nakapag-express ng nuclear RNA. Okay, so given all the necessities, yung mga proteins, TFs, or transcription factors, the DNA can now produce an RNA, and that is nuclear RNA. It's a nuclear RNA because the event happened in the nucleus. Okay, kasi I already told you this, that DNA is not only present in your nucleus, you also have this in your mitochondria, and for plants, they also have it in their chloroplast. So yeah, so the DNA was transcribed into an RNA or nuclear RNA. This is still immature. Okay, it needs modification pa. And not all nuclear RNA will proceed to this step. There are a lot of regulations. Now, the nuclear RNA would still contain introns, and you don't want that. Those are like junks, pero just because it is said to be junk, junk na siya, literally. No, may function din yan, especially sa production ng antibodies, because we want to produce isoforms, variations of proteins, 'di ba? So sa mga cells na nagpo-produce ng mga antibodies, kung iisa lang yung natra-transcribe na protein, paano ka magkakaroon ng variation sa antibodies mo? 'Di ba? Paano madedetect yung mga variations, yung mga pathogens? So, without recombinations. no? So that's why, yeah, and the yung mga shuffling is very important to that. So the nuclear RNA will now be processed into a matured RNA. There's like a modification at the 5' end as well as in the 3' end. Sa 5' end, you will encounter yung 5' methyl guanosine cap, or they call it the 5' capping. Okay? And in the 3' end is yung poly-A, polyadenylation. So yun yung ano, no, yun yung modification dito. Aside from the removal of the introns, nag-occur din yung modifications at terminal ends of your transcripts. Again, at the 5' end, there is 5' methyl guanosine cap, or you can just say 5' capping. And in the 3' end, there is polyadenylation. And using this concept, ito, okay, so you need to understand this concept kasi when you go to the lab and you want to capture, or let's say you're interested in the gene expression, meron kang dalawang plants, tapos yung isa in-incubate mo sa higher temperature, yung isa naman ay sa lower temperature. So you want to determine what are the genes expressed when you increase or decrease the temperature. So your samples definitely is not DNA kasi gene expression ka eh. Kapag ang focus mo ay gene expression, dalawa normally ang samples mo. You can use the RNA or the proteins. Okay, kasi yung expression of genes can be detected using the mRNA, the RNA, or again, the proteins. Okay? Kasi yung DNA will stay the same, di ba? Sa nasabi kong experiment, sa hypothetical example natin. And let's say our interest is detecting the levels of the genes, specifically yung messenger RNA. And the first step in doing that is I need to extract the nucleic acid. So in extracting the nucleic acid, you guys have performed this, like you burst the cell membrane, you add detergents, detergents that will denature the proteins, or you can also do mechanical digestion, like you macerate or digest the cell membrane so that you can liberate yung nucleic acids. And sa nucleic acids, 'di ba? Definitely meron kang makakapture na DNA and RNA. But your interest is messenger RNA lang. So how are you going to remove the DNA? So applying this or understanding the anatomy of the messenger RNA, you can now apply yung procedure with the use of a um capture molecule, like in a bead, sa extraction, meron yung it's being coated with poly-T. Okay, so it's like short sequence siya ng DNA na meron yung sequence na thymine, thymine, thymine. Okay, so since adenine poly-A sequence, yung sequence ng poly-A is complementary to poly-T in thymine. So you'll be able to capture the messenger RNA. Okay? So that's one way of capturing the messenger RNA. But I just want to stress out na hindi lahat ng messenger RNA ay may ganitong may polyadenylation. Okay? We have a diverse organisms. Meron tayong diverse organisms, pero this is just a general concept. Okay, so that is why in RNA extraction, it is not limited to to kits na magnetic base, and merong poly-T. So, yeah, magkakaiba ng mechanisms. Yung iba, they consider also yung mga mRNA. Kasi there are RNA, let's say ang interest mo is um, small interference RNA, okay, or other RNAs na kasi 'di ba, hindi lang naman messenger RNA you guys have. You also have ribosomal RNA, you also have transfer RNA, right? Yung mga hindi nata-translate ba ng mga na RNA, small interference RNA, microRNA, there's a lot pa. And hindi lahat ng RNA would have this kind of terminal sequences. So, yeah. So that's why you need to do another way of purifying or capturing your messenger RNA. So essentially, that's the concept, no? Bakit may mga kits na and also, um, when you have messenger RNA, the way you analyze it, hindi mo siya isa-subject sa page kasi it's messenger RNA molecules are very, very few. So you want them to amplify, no? You want them to be amplified and you want to use the PCR. So in doing PCR, you need primers, right? And for you to convert the messenger RNA into DNA, you need primers. And the primers, same with the concept of capturing the messenger RNA. It's the poly-T. May mga T, mga thymine sequences. So, yeah, so that will serve as a template or this is your template rather, so that the T will serve as a primer. And ayan, so siya, and you need RT enzyme to do that, to convert the messenger RNA into DNA. RT is reverse transcriptase. Okay? So, again, ulitin ko, the when your interest is gene expression, ang gusto mong pag-aralan ay either messenger RNA or at protein level. Okay? And yung messenger RNA, for you to quantify it, you need to subject it via PCR. And for you to do PCR, you need to convert the messenger RNA into DNA, and you need the enzyme RT or reverse transcriptase. Okay, and yes, you have the enzyme reverse transcriptase, pero in the lab, you need primers to do it. Diba? You need primers, and that is yung poly-T sequences. Okay, um, ito rin yung nangyari sa akin before. Um, yung sa cDNA synthesis, hindi lahat ng messenger RNA ay ganito yung terminal ends, poly-A. That's why if your interest is the total RNA, ang ginagawa ay gumagamit ng another sets of primers since hindi mo rin alam yung sequence na yon. So there is this random hexamers na tinatawag. Hexa means 6. So 6 lang siya na nucleotide residues. And yeah, just do yung probability na ano yung mga sequences. So it's a mixture, yung random hexamers na yan. So ATCGAT or ATCGAA, stuff like that. So it's a combination, no? Combination siya ng nucleic acid na ATCG pero make it 6. Kaya siya random hexamers. Just to capture, para lang ma-transcribe mo din or para ma-reverse transcribe mo yung mga RNA na hindi nag-e-end sa poly-A. Okay. Now, the messenger RNA here is said to be matured already kasi modifications happened na. It's now free with the activity of digestive enzymes like the RNases. Yeah, kasi ubiquitous yung RNases sa cell. Maraming if the cell, eto halimbawa to, if wala itong modification, since ubiquitous or present yung mga exonucleases like the RNases, they will just digest the messenger, the RNA. Now, if there are no modifications, it will just digest it and recycle kung ano man yung biomolecules na to. So you need to protect, and one way of protecting the RNA is to have the 5' and the 3' modification. Okay? That's why in RNA extraction, since compared to DNA, no, RNA molecules are very, very unstable. So, gumagamit ng RNA later. Halimbawa, may experiment ka ngayon, yung one of my classmates, ang research niya ay gene expression ng testis sa mga mice na na um na pinakain ng bignay. Ayun, so kapag kumain ng bignay, chinek, what are, yung hypothesis niya ay, what are the genes being upregulated or downregulated? So yun, ang research niya. And since she has to transfer the samples from the vet, yeah, from the veterinary laboratory papunta sa Institute of Biology, in the span of few minutes or few hours na transfer without putting anything, your RNA will definitely be degraded instantly because yung activity ng RNAs, yeah, is yeah, sobrang bilis, and kaya very vulnerable talaga si RNA, kaya naglalagay ng ano ng um what do you call this, RNA later. So yun, that's the ano, it's a commercial product. Pero you guys can check na lang what are the contents of RNA later. Pero more likely, it contains a chemical that would deactivate the enzymes such as nucleases, no? Like yung mga RNases, yung mga enzymes, digestive enzymes that will digest the RNA. So, okay, so going back, so the messenger RNA, it's now ready to be imported out of the nucleus via the nuclear pore. And yeah, as seen in this picture, translation is now going on wherein the messenger RNA was successfully or has successfully incorporated itself sa ribosome. Okay, so just because, let's say, no, I have a hypothetical RNA, and then, um, wait, okay. Um, water break muna tayo. Give me 5 minutes. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. Okay, so going back, okay, so as I was saying, um, I am giving a scenario here now. Let's say I introduce a foreign messenger RNA into the cell. Do you think that messenger RNA will be translated into a protein? Let's say that mRNA has polyadenylation and 5' capping. Do you think it will be expressed or translated into a protein? In the chat box, yes or no? And maybe give some reasons. Okay, I'll wait for at least a minute. Okay, time stop. How many have answered kaya? Oh, surprising. Zero. Seriously, bakit, what do you think will happen if I introduce a messenger RNA? Let's say um that messenger RNA that I introduced, my interest kasi is to produce insulin. Okay, and that cell is, let's say, bacteria. And so essentially what I did was um I isolated a messenger RNA from human kasi gusto ko is I want to produce the insulin gene from the human. I want it to be produced synthetically in an E. coli. So do you think, and let's say I did heat shock, I transformed the E. coli using the heat shock method, and do you think the messenger RNA derived from the human will be expressed successfully in the E. coli? Yes or no? Gaano ba ka-deep yung knowledge ng 3-1 when it comes to mold bio? Any answer? No one's answering. Oh, you can guess. In the chat box, you may respond. I swear, I'm not gonna mention your name. If it's incorrect, it's totally fine. And guess, or you have any idea or none? How many audience do I have? 30, 34. Wala, kahit isa. 3-1. No, because. Yes, because. Okay, so may nag-ask if I can repeat the question. It's not a question, pero um, this is a hypothetical scenario wherein gusto kong mag-produce ng insulin sa E. coli. And that protein is an insulin. So what I did was I isolated the messenger RNA. Saan ba na-express yung insulin? It's, correct me if I'm wrong, is it in the beta cells of the islet of Langerhans? Whatever. Yeah, let's say I was successful in isolating the messenger RNA that would code for insulin. And I made sure na it has 5' capping and 3' capping, 3' capping, 5' capping and 3' polyadenylation. And I incorporated it in the E. coli using heat shock. Let's say it's successful yung transformation ko. Do you think the protein will be expressed, will be translated? That's my question. Do you think kapag pinasok ko yung messenger RNA sa bacteria, matra-translate ng bacteria yung messenger RNA na yon into insulin? Yes or no? And provide some answers. Wild guess. What do you think? Okay, some answer. Sige, I'm gonna wait for like 2 minutes more. Okay, so allow me to read your answers. Mm-hmm. So one answered, um, Okay, so I will read it as stated. Student 1, no po, I think because po magkaiba kasi gene characteristics na meron po sa human compared sa E. coli since po ang bacteria po ay walang polyadenylation. Student 2, I think no po sir kasi po wala po appropriate machinery para ma-translate properly yung messenger RNA. Student 3, no, if the messenger RNA isolated is from human. 4, I think yes po, sir. Since they share the same structure po, just like how you mentioned po, sir, how it was ensured that both organisms had five prime capping and polyadenylation. As the transfer protein undergo translation sa bacteria, I think it's possible po na ma-translate niya yung proteins. No po, kasi ang heat shock po ata is for DNA and nor for maybe not for mRNA since mas matibay yung structure ng DNA compared to mRNA. Also, po according sa nabasa ko, walang machinery to integrate RNA yung mga bacteria. Yes, kasi yung RNA is na-translate na into protein as soon as na-transcribe na ng bacteria E. coli po. What? Yes, kasi yung RNA is na-translate na into protein as soon as na-transcribe na yung bacteria or E. coli po. Hehe. I think po sir cloning is the best option. Yeah, hypothetically that is cloning. So the answer to that is it depends. It depends to what? Well, it depends to the design of that messenger RNA. If wala akong ginawang any modifications with my messenger RNA, like I just isolated the mRNA that would code for insulin and put that sa E. coli, definitely it will not be expressed. Primarily, hindi distinguishable ng ng ribosome ng bacteria ang RNA natin. Okay? There has to be some specific sequences na meron sa ating mRNA so that it will be recognized na parang the logic is, ba't kita gagawa if I am an E. coli, I'd be saying, bakit kita gagawa ng proteins if hindi naman para sa akin yon, right? So I have to recognize muna if that mRNA is mine or not. So yeah, so there are these sequences for humans. We call that the Kozak sequence, and for the E. coli, we call that the Scheindel-Gardner sequence. Okay, and that is being incorporated when you design a plasmid in genetic engineering. Okay, so just because you have the messenger RNA doesn't mean na na red na ma-express mo na siya. And also, yeah, one of your classmates is correct naman that there's no processing na for some bacteria, right? Yun yung difference ng bacteria sa eukaryotic. For bacteria, di ba for us, there is a need for poly-A tail, polyadenylation, and sa 5' end, merong 5' capping. For E. coli, that doesn't happen anymore kasi the moment that they will transcribe RNA, it will spontaneously translate that molecule or that RNA into a protein. So the reaction is spontaneous. Um, di ba? They don't have to travel. Unlike for us. Kasi you might see it like very little na yung distance ng nucleus and sa cytoplasm. Pero if you're wearing yung shoes ng ng messenger RNA, parang that's very far. It's very far, and that RNA will be encountering a lot of yung mga nucleases, digestive enzymes. So it has to protect itself. So as E. coli, wala naman eh. They do not have nucleus. The moment that it transcribe mRNA, that mRNA will be translated into protein na. Okay? Kasi wala ng traveling na nangyayari from the nucleus kasi essentially wala namang nucleus ang ano, ang bacteria unlike sa humans na may travel pa, no? From the nucleus to ribosomes, and that ribosomes can be ano pa, pwedeng embedded on the cytosol, and pwede yung direction ng messenger RNA na yon ay ay embedded sa surface ng rough endoplasmic reticulum. So, if the ribosome ay nasa cytoplasm or cytosol, so yung mga proteins na yun ay yung mga enzymes na ginagamit sa cytoplasm. But if pumasok siya sa rough ER, this might not be true to all, pero one of its pathway kasi is to do exocytosis. Okay. So, as seen in this figure, no, and so the RNA and has successfully incorporated itself in the ribosome, and the event translation was successful, and the amino acids chains are now synthesizing or happening, and then spontaneously it will be folded and will be modified. And no, this is not how it is being done. Like hindi, okay, um, dapat the ribosome should be in here. Yep, especially if this is a rough ER. Pero, mm, medyo malilito kayo pero do not follow this. This is incorrect though. This was derived from, ano, from a reputable, ano naman, journal pero this is incorrect. Um, yeah, protein folding modification. This is not the pathway paano siya nagiging integral protein. Pero the concept is the same, like after transcription, no, after translation, hindi nag-e-end doon, 'di ba? Hindi nag-e-end sa quaternary or tertiary structure yung protein. When you add sugar, no, those are the PTMs, post-translational modifications. Now, does that mean na, 'di ba sabi ng kanina, regulation also occurs at protein level? Let's say yung cell, ayaw niya ng protein na yun kasi it's too much. So what it is it will some enzymes will modify that protein. It will tag that protein it will tag that protein some molecules so that it will be recognizable by proteases. So kapag recognizable siya ng proteases, no, so it will just digest the protein. So wala kang protein kahit na na-translate na siya into protein and product, kapag natag yan, 'di ba? Wala ka pa ring proteins na na-produce. So, ayun. So there's really a lot of processes happening in this cell. Okay. Ay- Okay, so evidence for genomic equivalence. Um, when we see genomic equivalence, ito lang. I'll just read this. The presence of identical genes in cells that are radically different from each other is known as genomic equivalence. This was my first question to you kanina, no, na you have different kinds of cells, different types of cells, cells that would constitute your bone and cells that would constitute your nervous system. Pero genetically, they are the same. They are identical, right? So, yeah, this is just an evidence. So, yung salamander eye regeneration, that even adult differentiated cells can retain their potential to produce other cell types. Kasi, ayan. So, yeah, yung kanina, no? Um, Puwede kasing maging ano pa rin, maging kung ano man yung cell nito, like skin cell. Definitely hindi lang sa yung cell 'to kasi meron pa 'tong capillaries and bone. So, a lot of different types of cells. And kahit na matured na 'to, 'di ba, it can still regenerate kasi for as long as you have the complete machinery, and those are the transcription factors. Um, Very important yung transcription factors kasi that is how you design yung cell para maano mo siya, madirect mo siya sa tamang path kung ano siya in the future. Halimbawa sa personalized medicine, siyempre gusto mo yung ibibigay sa yung treatment ay galing sa'yo is yung cell mo mismo. Kasi if it's not your cell, the problem is, 'di ba, it will just be rejected by your cell, by your body kasi your body would recognize that cell as foreign. So kapag foreign siya, i-aatakin siya ng immune system. So baliwala yung treatment. Kaya nga before the treatment, sinusuppress yung immune system mo para ma-take in mo kung ano man yung binigay sa'yo. But in iPSCs, yung mga personalized medicine, ang gagawin is they get your cell, they sequence it, analyze that cell, kung ano man yung mali. Okay, it will be rectified. I don't know if that's the term for that. And then, yeah, bibigay sa'yo yung normal um, DNA, and then paparamihin yung cell na yon. Let's say yung stem cell na yon, you want that to become part of your cells of your heart, let's say, or some ano ba yung mga ginagamit. Okay, sa skin cell, let's say, ano gusto mong fresh yung like rejuve? No, no, no. Definitely not rejuve is the term. You want to have a younger looking skin. So, di ba, maraming mga different treatments like stem cell therapy, stuff like that. So, and gusto mo, syempre, skin cell mo lang din ang gagamitin. And let's say gumamit ng stem cell. So, yung mga scientists, so that stem cell will be directed in becoming a specialized skin cell by incorporating transcription factors. No? So, yeah, yung transcription factors kasi will determine or are yung crucial factors talaga para maging specialized cells sila, like in that case, the skin cell. So, ganun din dito. No, transcription factors are really important in doing this process of regeneration. And so, another question, kanina, just because you have the gene, does that mean it will be translated or it will be expressed na into a protein? Well, aside from the presence and absence, very important then yung mga histones. So histones are made up of, and this is octamer, okay, meaning it has 8 subunits of protein, and the DNA would coil around itself in this octamer, and the octamers are being joined by the H1 histones. So this unit, so one histone octamer with a coiled DNA is called a nucleosome. Okay, that is a nucleosome. So there are two, um, I know, yeah. There are two structure here of your chromatin. This is your chromatin. And meron siyang dalawang configurations or structure. Pwede siyang maging heterochromatin or euchromatin. So, kailan siya nagiging heterochromatin and kailan siya nagiging euchromatin? So, kapag heterochromatin, If ang cell mo ay ayaw niyang mag-express ng genes, so yung chromatin mo will be in this conformation. Okay? And kasi as much as possible, pine-prevent ng histones, no? These are histones. Pine-prevent ng histones na ma-expose si DNA to transcription factors, to the polymerases. Ayun. So, essentially, if your cell is trying to suppress gene expression, the chromatin would have this kind of structure. It's closely packed. But if gusto niyang mag-express kasi nga nakukulangan ka, halimbawa, 'di ba, pumunta ka sa sa malamig na place, and then dapat yung cell membrane mo ay dapat more fluid siya kasi nag-freeze na yung membrane mo eh. So you need some enzymes um to perform more kings, more double bonds, cut more fatty acids. So let's say that gene is found in this segment. So what your chromatin would look like is something like this, no? So ine-expose niya yung gene na yon so that it will be expressed. So if you see under the microscope na it's a euchromatin, that means the gene is probably the gene is actively expressing. Okay? But if it's in the heterochromatin, that means the genes are being silenced. So the genes are being suppressed at this structure, heterochromatin, and the gene expression is being induced or upregulated at this structure. Okay, so that's the histones and the DNA. Now, kailan nagiging euchromatin and heterochromatin? Well, dito na papasok yung sabi kanina na yung modifications of the protein. Modifications of the protein specifically yung histones, okay, play a very important role in the gene expression. If it's if it's methylated, highly methylated, as seen in this figure, right? So that this is methylated. So the gene is being suppressed. Hindi active ang gene expression kapag highly methylated yung histones. Kasi, right, histones are, the DNA is negatively charged, right? And para mas stronger yung kapit, di ba? Negatively charged DNA is attracted to something positive. So, and yeah, so that's why there's this methylation. Kaya kapag opposite yung charges nila, no? So tendency is it tends to to have this kind of conformation, compact siya. So the enzyme responsible doing the addition of the methyl groups are called the histone methyltransferases. Okay, to remove this methyl groups, you need histone demethylase. Okay, so ito naman, okay, so this is one naman is to promote expression. And this is acetyltransferases. Okay? So acetylation naman, kapag acetylated naman ng ang histones, it promotes gene expression. The enzyme responsible for this is called the histone acetyltransferases. To remove this acetyl group, you need the enzyme histone deacetylase. Okay, so now, nangyayari din yung methylation nito sa different segments or amino acid residues sa histone. Okay? And sabi natin kanina, di ba, na dito, Na if the histones are methylated, ibig sabihin, the nucleosomes are condensed. Eventually, gene expression is being suppressed. But not not in all cases. For some, it would depend on the position in certain residues like ito. If yan sa 4, sa 4, there's this transcriptional activation. And so may mga genes na says here methylated lysine residues at positions 4, 38, and 79 are associated with gene activation. Okay? Whereas methylated lysines at positions 9 and 27 are associated with repression. Okay? So, and that is, ano lang, for histone, age 3. Now, we'll now go to the anatomy of the gene. I don't know how familiar are you with the gene anatomy. But as at a scale of 1 to 10, okay, sorry. At a scale of 1 to 10, how familiar are you with the gene anatomy? I want you guys to answer, like everyone. 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest. Okay, so my question is, what do you think is this one? Is it from an E. coli or from a fungi? And the quick answer. Go ahead. 10 seconds to answer. 10, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2. So far, 11 pa lang yung may attendance based sa last. Okay, I'll stop here na. Okay. Um, so this is definitely not from an E. coli kasi 'di ba? How many answered E. coli? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5. All right. So one of the biggest difference ng E. coli or ng prokaryotic sa eukaryotic is the presence of the introns. This might not be true to all bacteria, but generally, microorganisms like E. coli do not possess introns. Okay, so that's why our gene is quite big compared to E. coli. Oh, you might be saying na, eh syempre sir, E. coli are very small. Dapat mas dapat mas maliit talaga yung DNA sa kanila. Well, to rebut that, there is what we call the C-value paradox na the complexity of an organism is not directly associated with its DNA content. Okay, so just because you're more complex doesn't necessarily mean that you have a greater number of DNA sequence. No, that we have the concept called the C-value paradox. So going back, this is from um, a eukaryotic organism kasi it contains introns. Okay, so this is the DNA. So this is how, so you guys should be, or I want you guys to acquaint yourself with the anatomy of the gene. Okay, wait lang. All right. So this is the 5' end and ito yung 3' end. Sa 5' end, okay, you'll find the promoter region. Wait, water break for 1 minute. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. So going back to the anatomy of the gene, ito ba kailangan yung tandaan, no? Yung promoter region, very important to. Kasi kahit na meron kang gene, presence ng gene, without a promoter region, no, girl, wala kang mata-transcribe. Kasi there is no landmark kay RNA polymerase para mag-bind. And di ba, we need RNA polymerase. Siya kasi yung mag-recruit ng mga ng mga nucleic acids, no? To proceed with transcription. So, yep, you need a promoter region, and sa promoter region, you will find this TBP, or we call this the data binding protein. Kasi before you'll have the RNA polymerase, dito sa data binding proteins, dito magbabind yung mga transcription factors. Okay, so it is really, really complex. There's going to be a lot of transcription factors that's going to be sitting in this region before they will recruit, because those transcription factors will serve as a landmark for RNA polymerase to bind. So next is, okay, flanking to the promoter region is you have the leader sequence. Yep, and the leader sequence is part of the exon 1, and middle, or somewhere along ng exon 1, you will find the ATG. And you guys know what ATG is, right? This is the start codon. Okay, this is the start codon. At DNA level is ATG, but if it's RNA, it's AUG, right? And the amino acid is methionine. Okay, so that's the leader sequence. And then flanking to this is you have the intron 1, the exon 2, intron 2, and then ito. In the exon 3, you will find, okay, somewhere along the exon 3, you will find the one, at least one of the translation terminator codon like the TAA. If this is being transcribed into RNA, this is going to become the UAA. And that's just one of the three, right? You have the WAA, the WAG, and the UGA. So those three are your terminator codon. And then, ayan, so nasa gitna rin siya ng exon 3 nyo. And yeah, after the termination codon, you have the poly A, no? The poly A addition site, the polyadenylation. And then, ayan, so in transcription, as seen in this figure, okay, so it's only from the exon 1 up to exon 3 lang yung na-transcribe. The promoter region is not transcribable. No, it's not being transcribed. So, from here lang ang transcription sa start ng leader sequence. Okay, from the leader sequence, okay, down to exon 3. Now, in this process pala, sa leader sequence, as seen, there is this 5' methyl guanosine cap, and sa 3' end, and then yung polyadenylation. And mag-undergo ng RNA processing, wherein the introns are being removed using the enzyme spliceosomes. Okay, spliceosome. So parang nagkakaroon ng lariat, para ma-remove si intron 1 and will join exon 1 and exon 2. So I just mentioned the enzyme, the spliceosomes. It will essentially splice or remove the introns and will join exons. So oopsie. Oops. Ayan. And then, so you now, oh shoot. You now have the messenger RNA, no? So this is now the matured messenger RNA. Again, before this is you have the nuclear RNA. Now, the translation starts from the AUG or the start codon and will end as it reaches any of the three terminating codons, no? So sa messenger RNA, as you see, meron pa ring part, hindi lahat ng messenger RNA ay na-translate. Kasi 'di ba, um, as you know, parang messenger RNA, so definitely this is AUG and this is WA. Yun yung alam natin, the start and the stop. Pero the start and the stop, and that is, yeah, this is the complete, ano naman, this is the complete sequence naman for you to translate the protein. Kasi you don't need this, diba? These are UTRs. Hindi na sila na-translate. Okay? And, pero, you still need them. Okay? You still need the leader sequence and the poly A tail kasi nga, um, yeah, you need at least some sequence recognizable by the ribosome, di ba, bago mag-proceed yung translation. And that was my question kanina. And the synthesized protein will spontaneously, yeah, be folded into whatever, kung ano man yung gusto niyang shape. And then, this might not be true to all, pero for some proteins, nag-undergo pa siya ng PTM or post-translational modification. This is very important concept in choosing saan ko ba siya ma-apply para maintindihan niyo yung PTM. Um, okay. Halimbawa, I have an insulin gene. Insulin? No, maybe not insulin. Okay. Let's say a vaccine. Okay, let's say a vaccine for SARS-CoV-2. Um, 'Di ba? As you guys know, meron na tayong messenger RNA, mRNA vaccines, right? And yung mRNA vaccine na yon, yung um, protein na na-translate ay or no, siguro, sige, it's quite complex sa vaccines ano, for humans eh. Maybe in ano na lang, experimental rabbits. Okay. Or, no, sige, in this experimental rabbits, maybe ano ba yung pinakasimple example natin? Okay, sa cell culture. Okay, sige, correct. Let's say, no, um, nasa actual, ano na kayo, mag-work na kayo. Let's say, mag-work na kayo in the future sa isang lab. Tapos, your principal investigator, ang principal investigator, sila yung parang, leader. Sila yung proponent ng research. So let's say, sabi ng principal investigator ay, kailangan natin mag-produce ng ELISA. Okay, or yeah, um, or kailangan nating mag-produce ng proteins. Pero yung proteins na yon ay, meron siyang, ay heavily glycosylated tulad ng ng SARS-CoV-2 kasi 'di ba yung proteins sa SARS-CoV-2 aside from ginagamit siya for vaccine is that it's also being used para for diagnostic um sa paggawa ng mga diagnostic kits. So halimbawa yung spike protein, no, so sabi ng principal investigator, um ang sasabihin niya, gawa ka ng tusan ka niya. Okay, hey you, gawa ka ng proteins. Gusto ko, gusto ko, para mataas yung sensitivity, ang protein natin dapat tama yung structure niya. Kung ano yung nakikita sa normal condition, ganun din yung protein na ipoproduce natin. Okay? So kasi, ang problem kasi sa pag nag-produce ka ng protein is yung kanyang shape. just because na ano na meron kang gene and all other stuff, ang pinaka-issue dyan is yung shape ng protein. And ang shape ng protein, ay isa sa mga biggest factor nun is yung post-translational modification. Okay, meron kang protein, meron kang mRNA na express mo nga siya sa E. coli, nakapag-produce ka nga sa E. coli, but tama ba yung shape ng protein na yon? Kasi kung mali ang shape ng protein na yon, hindi siya, anong use, di ba? Parang especially kapag ang protein na yon ay yung function niya nakadepende sa kanyang shape, girl, wala kang makukuhang results from that. Yung structure ng protein depends sa application, is really, really important. Ayan. And bago ka makapag-produce ng protein, no? So alamin mo muna kung saan mo siya ipaproduce, sa E. coli ba or sa prokaryotic? Sorry, sa E. coli ba or any prokaryotic organism or or sa eukaryotic like fungi or cancer cells like from HeLa, kay Henrietta Lacks. So, nakadepende doon kung ang protein mo ay heavily glycosylated, like may maraming mga sugar components. So ang choice mo would be the eukaryotic organisms kasi yun yung limitation ng prokaryotic. Bihira or yun ang weakness niya, no? Sa pag-produce ng protein. Kapag its weakness is limited yung post-translational modification sa bacteria. Okay? Kaya gumagamit ng eukaryotic organism sa pag-produce ng protein kasi, ayun, yung pinaka, niya, nangyayari, meron kasi, yun ang strength ng eukaryotic. It can do post-translational modification. So if your interest is a protein that is heavily glycosylated, then you may opt to use eukaryotic cell lines like mammalian cell lines, cancer cells, or plant cells, or fungal cells. Pero if your protein is pretty basic, like it doesn't have to be like glycosylated or phosphorylated, and if yung PTM naman ay hindi masyadong complex, like you can do it in a test tube, just add an enzyme, then you can just use E. coli. Pero if the protein is again very complex, okay, go to eukaryotic organisms. Pero it depends on the applications naman. Um, Ayun. Okay, so that is the anatomy of your gene. Okay, na-explain ko naman to, promoter region. Yeah, I already, sabi ko na to, the TBP or the data box, data mining protein, choo, transcription, initiation, the 5' capping, already discussed this, the 5 UTRs, also called as the leader sequence, sila yung mga untranslated, na ito siya. So ito yung 5' UTR untranslated kasi translation starts with definitely at AUG. Okay, but hindi sa lahat ng organisms AUG. May mga organisms or it depends sa enzymes. Sometimes they do not recognize AUG. Kasi sa genetic code, yung the one that we follow, yeah, may mga AUG for general or for majority, not gonna say majority, but well, sige, for most. What? Oh yeah, for most, AUG would code for methionine, pero for some fungi or for some organisms, hindi iba yung kanilang genetic code. Okay? Kaya when you do the mega or dun sa paggawa ng phylogenetic tree, isa sa crucial dun is yung pag-select ng genetic code. And yeah, magkakadikit talaga. Magkakadikit yung concept ng ball bio. Like you really have to know the basics kasi when you are to construct your tree and i-consider mo yung lahat, kailangan mo talagang alam ang pinaka-basic. Ang hirap mag-jump na sa advanced level without knowing the basics of the basics. lagi mo siyang madadaanan talaga, ma-encounter. So yung mga Shindle-Garner sequence that I was saying kanina, so you can find, you'll find that here sa mga UTRs. Yeah, meron ding mga 3' UTRs and yung transcription termination sequence. So, ayan, aside from those mentioned, no, there are regulatory elements pa. May mga cis regulatory elements. Ayan, so this would include, so sabi dito, when located on the same chromosome as the gene, they can be referred as the cis regulatory elements. So halimbawa in here, right? Okay, so in this figure, bago mag-proceed si promoter, bago mag-proceed yung transcription, dapat you need a GATA1 proteins. And these GATA1 proteins can only be expressed by an enhancer. Okay, remember that the promoter is where the RNA polymerase would integrate itself. Okay, so the enhancer will code for the GATA1 and the GATA1 will bind to the enhancer, and then it will activate the RNA polymerase to proceed the transcription. So kung wala yung enhancer, without enhancer, then there will be no transcription that is happening. And next is, so this is the promoter, enhancer rather. Meron din tayong, um, part ng regulatory elements yung promoter, no? So si promoter, doon si RNA polymerase. Yeah, this is just an example of yung function ng ng enhancer. Ayan. In this example, as you see, no, alam natin na yung DNA, kung ano ang DNA na nakikita sa limbs, siya ring DNA ang nakikita sa ating brain. The only difference is the regulation of the gene expression. But definitely, in our DNA, present yung dalawang yan. Pero, bakit yung isa na-express and bakit yung isa hindi? That is because of the enhancers. Okay? So, in here, as seen, ayan. So, if you have the brain-specific enhancer and limb-specific answer, ang ginagawa ay definitely mRNA will be expressed both in brain and the limbs. But if only one is, let's say, working, let's say in here, the brain-specific enhancer is only working, so what happens is, ayan, it will only, so the protein will only be expressed in the brain. But if the ones working now is the limb enhancer, so ayan, so ang mangyayari is sa limb lang na ma-express yung protein na to. So that's how enhancer um, is being used to regulate the genes. And then meron ding mga silencer naman. Okay. Ayan. So in this example, you have the promoter, the LACZ, and NRSE is a repressor gene. So, ayan. Kapag walang NRSE, ang nangyayari dyan is there is no expression. So, ayan. There is an expression rather kasi it is a repressor as in this figure. So next is, kaya nag-proceed yung LACZ, no? And ChIP-seq, okay? Kung gusto mong malaman, ang ChIP-seq ay ginagamit para malaman natin kung nasaang region ba ng DNA nangyayari yung active yung transcription. Kasi 'di ba, You guys know this na ilang percent ng DNA ng human yung junk DNA? 'Di ba? Ilang percent lang din doon yung genes. Um, yeah, and for us to know kung nasaang segment ba ng chromosome active yung genes or present yung mga gene expression is we use the ChIP-seq. So it's called the chromatin immunoprecipitation followed by sequencing. So we're in. Ang ginagawa dito is, first is, you ano, you fragment your DNA. Tapos, you will look for, or you'll incorporate, palakin ko na lang. Ayan. So, ito siya, no? So, first is, di ba, may mga sa chipstick kasi, um, ang ginagamit dito is antibodies for you to capture yung mga gene regulated by the histones. Okay, like in this example, there is this we don't know if this is an acetyl group or methyl group, but you need an antibody specific to that group and then to the functional group, and then once captured, so sila lang yung i-purify natin, no? Kung sino lang yung mga DNA coiled in a histone na yung histone ay ano siya, meron siyang functional group. So, once na-capture na natin yung mga ganong segments ng DNA, we do purification and then sequencing. So, yeah, uh, pwedeng gumamit ng Illumina or I'm not really familiar with the Roche and ABI. Ang nagamit ko pa lang is yung Illumina, what do you call this? The Illumina and the Nanopore. Yeah, this is for short reads. And yung long reads naman is yung Nanopore. So, ayan. So, malalaman natin doon if ano yung mga genes associated, no, sa histone modification. So, chip can be used to map DNA. Yan, this is the function. Can be used to map DNA binding proteins, and histone modifications in genome-wide manner at base pair resolution. So, yeah. Yeah, and this is very important ha, especially in the field of epigenetics. Kasi 'di ba, present nga yung ano mo, may mga disorder na you nagtataka sila na parang, bakit ka hindi makapag-produce ng ganitong protein? Eh, present naman siya sa iyong DNA. So, yeah, and the answer lies could be sa histones. Pwedeng regulated yung histones mo, kaya hindi ma-express yung genes. So, for us to be able to identify nasaan ba yon, sa nangyayari yon, ano yung genes associated with that, is we need the ChIP-seq. So they do have this sa IRI, sa International Rice Research Institute. So kung gusto nilang malaman if nasaang segment ng DNA yung na-express or um, na suppress at chromosomal level, kasi at chromosome incorporated kasi doon yung histones. No? So they do the ChIP-seq. Ayan. Next is um, this is more of transcription factors na. Sige, maybe we'll discuss this next meeting. Okay, ano pa ba to? Methylation. Okay. So ito lang naman yung mga concepts. Yung mga concept na to, this is very important for you to be able to understand paano nangyari sa halimbawa sa bacteria, no? Um, Sige, maybe next meeting na lang yung mga CRISPR, bakit meron namang DNA sequence, 'di ba? Halimbawa, yung bacteria, meron siyang kinaing or meron siyang na-incorporate na bacteriophage bacteriophage are viruses na nag-infect ng bacteria. So, some fragments of the ano, of bacteriophage, they put that or they incorporate that in their genome or sa kanilang plasmid. So, and sige, maybe next meeting na lang, we will talk about that, yung mga CRISPRs, paano ba yung parang sort of immune system ng bacteria, ano yung association ng methylation sa kanilang DNA, bakit hindi siya nadedetect ng kanilang mga Cas9 or ng kanilang mga restriction enzymes. So maybe we'll discuss that next meeting na lang. Okay, mga methods lang to. Okay. So that's gonna be all. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. Questions? Yep, the file will be uploaded once we're done with the lecture. Okay, questions? None? Okay, so if there's none, thank you everyone and have a good night. Bye.